I've been kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired for my last.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash, Brent, here with you on a Monday. There was something in the background there for a second, and now it's
you know what part of that is? What's in the background is, man, they are pouring concrete by the football field over here in downtown V, right here to the east of the offices at 205, which is just beautiful space. And by the way, I got to figure that really enhances the value of this space. When you get in here and you can park there, pretty much limitless parking for this building. What a deal.
Tomorrow.
It is.
Leave here today and write my name in the concrete.
Right? We should go out there and put Wade and Carter.
Does anybody ever do that anymore? I never noticed that anymore.
Smart people don't.
Yeah. Kids, that's who used to do it.
The one that I always liked was when the leaf would fall in the concrete and then 5 years, it's almost like a fossil. The leaf has gone away, but the little veins of the leaf and dog prints. I like dog prints.
Dog prints in concrete is always.
I like dog prints.
Makes me chuckle.
Yeah.
It's a dog that just didn't give a damn.
Just
whatever. I'm walking through this stuff. Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerlam Hayfeed and Ranch Services. Stop on by for all you need for your home, your pests, your ranch, your garden.
Got to take care of your pests.
Almost that time.
And your
pets.
pets.
People are thinking about what they're, Scott Tomko's already planning his garden for the spring.
Well, I think I'm going to get with Matt Boucher to figure out when's the best time to throw down the pre-emergent. This year I'm going to do everything I can. I use the 21-7-14 blend from American Plant Food from Deerlam.
Yep.
Exclusively on my yard. 4 times a year, I get the best yard on the block, period, hands down, full stop, end of story, arrogance noted. But I want to put out some type of a pre-emergent that will just keep that clover from ever coming up. It's not really clover. It's the sticker burrs. You know what I'm talking about? We grew up with the burrs that would come up on the stalk and they would get on. But this is the stuff that
sits on the grass.
Yeah, it's just brutal.
Hurts your feet to walk on.
41 degrees in Victoria this morning, heading to a high of 60. Now, it says it feels like 30, and I don't know why. It's not windy. Is it the humidity?
Maybe so.
I just don't ever understand their conversion factor. I think it feels like
you're
41.
You're not asked to understand it. You're just asked to comply.
Mine is not to understand. Mine is not to question why. Right, I'm with you. Mine is yours just to comply. Yes. 41 to 60, partly sunny, kind of splotchy clouds all day. Feel free to call us anytime, folks. 894-4020. Love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
You got any criticism of the program? You got anything you want us to focus on this year? And y'all talk too much sports. Y'all talk too much politics. We never know. We never know which mood you people are on in your biorhythmic cycles. We don't know.
Rena Scherer, first one in this morning. Kendra Douglas, Justin Glass.
There you
all
go.
on the podium. Will Vincent. Good
Will's
morning.
Working early.
Jordan Glass, Patrick Strauss.
Hey,
good morning.
P. Strauss.
There's Scott Tomko, Daniel Wade White, Bobby Leister, Randy Langston, Tammy Keeling, Stephanie Conti, Judge Posey. Good morning. Sheriff Louderback.
Hello, Sheriff.
The last day we can call him.
Wait, let me try it again. Texas House District 30 Representative-elect Sheriff A.J. Louderback.
Republican.
After tomorrow, he will simply be State Rep A.J. Louderback.
Absolutely. Marvin Mickish, Tammy Williams, Scott Snow. Good morning, B.J. Nelson.
You think they're going to like that tomorrow when he walks into the chamber with an AR-15 and some nunchucks? Just got his AR, got it slung over his back. Full cami, face paint.
You know, his Few people know this, but his sheriff's badge was actually a throwing star.
Yes. Did you notice that? He can take it off, hit you right in the eye with it at 50 feet.
Greg Garcia, Lisa Poole, Ricky King, Wendy Hughes Garcia, Sarah Elkins, Jim Hinojosa, good morning. Jackie Parsons, Linda Christ. Good morning to you all. Glad you're all here. Junior Band, I didn't see Junior check. There he is.
You don't have to work so hard on that Hinojosa. It doesn't need to be Hinojosa. Why not just go, that's Jaime Hinojosa.
I didn't go that hard.
You kind of, it wasn't like you weren't disrespectful. It was just Canadian, eh? Like it just, that's Jim Hinojosa. I want to take you places you've never been before.
I didn't notice that.
That's not it. That's, oh goodness. That reminds me to welcome all of our friends on Magic 95.9. Ash and I are not in any way racist. We're just unilingual. We just don't have any Spanish.
No, none. Very little.
We have no Spanish in our repertoire.
You have more than me.
Muy poquito.
There you go.
Just enough.
So Jack Smith decided to resign from the Department of Justice over the weekend. I mean, is this just a big, I mean, who cares at this point?
I think a federal judge probably said, hey, Jack, you're not going to be very effective anymore.
Well, the fact that his whole investigation went away.
Yeah.
But so that happened over the weekend. President Biden called Meta's decision to end their fact-checking program on the weekend shameful, really shameful, I think was the exact quote. Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, this comes on the heels of Zuckerberg talking to Joe Rogan about how the pressure they got from the Biden administration to shut down conversations, to call things lies that weren't, conspiracy theories, yada, yada, yada. And everybody, here's the thing with this. Everybody's going, oh, look at Zuckerberg. He's so brave telling the story. He capitulated and didn't stand up for free speech 4 years ago, 5 years ago when this was going on. He's not a hero now. He's looking for your sympathy.
But does he?
And he's trying to save his ass.
But is he right?
From Trump.
Because here's the deal. I don't have a problem with being fact-checked because I want to get it right. If there is a fact, if I say that the U.S. bombed North Korea in World War II and you come back and say, no, that was Japan, I'm not upset that you fact-checked me. If I'm fundamentally incorrect, correct me. That's okay.
Therein lies the problem.
But here's the problem. To me, are they kind of setting it up where it's a free-for-all on social media and people like me and Ash can start to portray to you things being true that may only be our opinion, that may not have any substantiation? Is that a good thing? Because then it's like, your truth is your truth, dude. There is no real truth. Yeah, that's a problem because we've gotten to a point in society where the truth is no longer the truth, it's your truth, right? I've always, Commander, stop it on a Monday. I've always felt like the world needs a really good newspaper. The world needs now is? More love, sweet love. We'll get to that in a second. I have that for you. We need a really good paper. We need a Main Street media that isn't biased and doesn't have an agenda. And I don't mean Fox. Fox is over here, CNN is over here, and they are both in the entertainment business. Neither of them care about the truth. Here's the problem. Most of the stuff that we're finding out California has done, bad decisions made regarding the wildfires, hasn't been broken by North American media sources. The Daily Mail has unearthed and uncovered most of the poor decisions made in California.
that whole DEI ad PSA that the LA Fire Department ran, where the one firefighter goes, well, if I got to carry your husband out of a fire, he made a bad choice, or whatever the heck that was.
Yeah, the reality there is it's too easy to say. So Trump is just so matter of fact. They're DEI hires, a bunch of fat women, blah, blah, blah. Trump being stupid, Trump being too blunt. But the fact is, he's right. He's right. Their DEI program put them at substantial risk.
And everybody's hailing the LA fire chief as a hero because she's standing up to the mayor right now and throwing her under the bus over the budget cuts. They were all lockstep DEI and doing everything. She was complicit with sending their extra equipment to Ukraine. I don't think there might be record of her complaining about the budget cuts. And they've been woefully slashed, folks. They're underfunded. Don't get me wrong. It's terrible the way they've cut it, and they've moved the money into DEI stuff and homeless. LA has pumped more money into their homeless problem, and all they have is more homeless problem. They haven't fixed anything. Yeah. And now you've got more homeless problem because you've got people who've lost their homes.
Well, they put in showers for the homeless to go shower and still be homeless. They put in places for them to safely shoot up and still be homeless. And they just tried to accommodate homelessness, of which we all know, a large percentage of it is mental health issues related, and a large percentage of it is by choice. These are people that have options. Many of these people do have family.
Three things contribute to it. They want to be there. They have mental health issues,
and
or
they're
severe drug users. And LA hasn't addressed any of that with the millions, probably billions at this point, that they've thrown towards their homeless at the expense of public service for people who pay the taxes.
Right.
So that people from all over the country can go and live on the streets of LA and crap in your driveway.
Right.
It's terrible. But don't think that the LA fire chief is a hero because all of a sudden she's throwing the mayor under the bus. The mayor that was off in, where was she, Ghana? As the fires were starting up.
She went home.
Yeah. Credit the people of LA for stopping some guy from trying to start a fire. I think it was a Friday. Guy's walking around with a blowtorch, matches, a whole bunch of stuff, trying to start another fire somewhere. Yeah. Apparently, he was responsible for one of these 5 fires that are burning in LA.
There are people that really like fire to the point that they'll do crazy stuff. You see where they had Garth Brooks sing the song Imagine in church at Jimmy Carter's funeral? They tried to get AC/DC to sing Highway to Hell, and they wanted Van Halen to come in with Running with the Devil.
Oh, Led Zeppelin was Stairway to Heaven.
But yeah, but instead they play Imagine, the John Lennon single from the early 70s that really, really was an ode to Yoko Ono's atheism. Very interesting.
Yoko was an atheist.
What was she, Buddhist?
I think.
Same thing.
See, I've never listened to that song and thought it was anti-God. I thought
Imagine there's no heaven, there's no hell below us. I mean, it's absolutely like, forget Christianity. Let's just all live together and get high. That really is what the song is about. Hey, don't get bogged down in this God thing. Let's just all party here. It's like you at Washington State,
never
Pullman,
that way.
Washington.
Listen to it. Imagine if there's no God and no heaven. That's the way I've listened to it.
Have you? Well, I guess that's what you would do in special needs class.
It's the beauty of art. It's interpretive.
Wow.
Should have seen my interpretive dance.
It's not every day. What do you call it when somebody is, well, not somebody, when an object is like an orange is an orange? It's an orange.
Unless you're colorblind.
What do you call those terms where the
absolutes?
So a banana isn't banana colored. An orange is orange, An apple's not apple. So Yoko Ono was properly named because, boy, she was rough.
Lisa Bull, bad choice on Garth. Was it Garth's choice? They probably asked him to do it.
I don't know. He probably was so excited to do it. He's the weirdest Main Street superstar I've ever really followed. And I like Garth. I mean, he's got some great music, but he's just a really weird cat. There's Matt Boucher. We're going to try to get Matt Boucher to come in one day this week at least and remind me, please. I want to ask him about pre-emergence, what to get and when to put it down.
Linda Chris says the news report says it was one of Jimmy Carter's favorite songs.
Imagine that. Jimmy was woke.
So we liked the song. Big deal. So they sang it at his funeral. Who cares? It's his song. It's his funeral.
Is that the way you feel?
That's the way I feel.
Okay. You don't feel like Jimmy Carter said his family, his estate should make some type of a statement, like maybe just sing Amazing Grace and put the old dude in the ground?
I mean, could have. I don't know.
Just wonder.
I want them to play for those about to rock.
Is that
My
at your funeral?
AC/DC, yep.
Folks,
Favorite
make a
song.
note. Make a note, because I'll probably have dementia by then. I had a dream last night that I had dementia. I was in a car. I was in a cab,
Did you
which
remember?
I never
well,
ride
you
a
remember
cab.
the dream, so you don't have dementia yet.
Well, but I was somewhere, and I'd been at a private school, and it was on the water. It was a beautiful place. I don't think it was a university. And I was really flustered because I couldn't find my car. I couldn't remember where I'd parked. And the cab driver was laughing at me. And I was sad. I remember anyway. Linda Chris says they sang that at his wife's funeral as well. Okay. Hello, John Anderson over in the Carolinas.
And
You know, that's big, we're
Jared
big there.
McCurgan, we're huge in the Carolinas. But is this more? I mean, let's be honest with the whole Jimmy Carter imagining. This is just fake outrage.
No, I'm not
why are-
outraged. I
No,
was
but
just
why
surprised.
why are people mad about it?
They shouldn't be mad about it. Tammy Keeling's exactly right. She says, let's face it. It's not about fact checking. It's about information control. We know that if an administration think Hitler can control the media, he can control the people. If I can force you to report that my mistakes are really successes, pretty soon, I mean, it's just like, if they keep telling you, like the media has done for 3 years, that our economy is getting better, things are better, new jobs are being added, everybody's a winner. Look at the stock market. And you want to believe that the economy is better than it was? There you have it. You can do so.
Tammy's on repeat.
Well, she went back to change that from fair to fact.
Oh, I didn't see
And
that.
see, I had done that for her. Because
Yeah.
Tammy and I read what she means, not what she says. You know what I mean?
I know what you meant.
Like when Tammy says no vouchers, what she really means is no vouchers without really thinking about it. That's what she means. Are you as upset as me? My new deal, gentlemen, walk in and tell your wives, go, you know what? I look so good this morning. I thought my mirror had AI capabilities. Because I'm tired of seeing these models and stuff that I know aren't real people.
Yeah.
Nobody is that good looking.
No. There were a few back in the day.
Well, and I'm talking about guys too. I'm like,
Christy
look at that
Brinkley.
guy's features. That guy would have scars. He'd get beat up for being that good looking. You have a problem telling a guy that he's good looking? You handsome devil.
No, you're a handsome devil.
Thank you.
Governor Newsom wants to know why the fire hydrants ran dry, why some ran dry. Because you had
No water.
10 years ago, you had billions of dollars put into water reservations and reserves and reservoirs, and nothing happened. Partially why? This has been funny. They're all pointing fingers at each other. The minute they get blamed, well, the hydrants ran dry. Well, that's because they shut the power down. They turned the power down to the electric pumps. It's just been, it's been, if you want to see what the Democrat Party truly is like, this is everything in a bubbling cauldron of perfect reasoning as to why never to elect Democrats. Their decades of terrible policies and laws and inaction and taxation has gotten California to the point where they couldn't even fight their fires. They don't have enough equipment. They have no water. They don't have people capable of doing what they need to do on the ground because they've been worried about a smelt instead of people.
Torrin Bales gives you a summary right there. The problem that the Dems are having in California is there aren't any Republicans to blame. Interesting deal, Callie Frommy points out. Did you see that this Pete Hegseth, the guy that's been set up to be, Department of Defense?
Yeah.
That there was some scuttle that, he's a fairly, I think he's a fairly handsome, fit, younger gentleman. And he's got a tattoo on his chest, I think. And they've said, oh, look, it's a neo-Nazi tattoo on his chest. It's the same. It's on the floor of the cathedral at the church where Jimmy Carter was, entombed. Very interesting. Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, she of all things truthful. She's been screaming at the top of her lungs. Now I want you to think about this. That Pete Hegseth was once at a party and had to be dragged out by his friends because he was too drunk to drive home. And Elizabeth Warren literally said, do you want that type of person in charge of the Department of Defense? Now, if we start excluding everybody just because they've been drunk once or twice in their life, none of the Kennedys would have ever been electable. No. I mean, is that unbelievable?
Barack was in a frat. I'm sure he was drunk at some point.
But the whole thing, Barack was high.
Oh,
but
sorry.
The whole thing that blows my mind is that Pocahontas, here she is, just a well-noted liar. Really, just a liar is what she is. And Pocahontas is up there saying, hey, this guy got drunk at a party. Don't you remember when she did that deal? Hey, honey, I'm having a beer with the American people. Would you like to have a beer?
Well, one beer, not 8 beers.
Well,
not 12 beers, not 13, 14, 20.
Well, okay, so she's a quitter. But at the end of the day, it's like...
All of a sudden, Elizabeth Warren became a Baptist?
Right. She's practically a teetotaler. I love that show, Landman.
Next, she's going to be eschewing caffeine.
Yeah.
She's going to be LDS.
I'm a decaf girl.
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton talks about he quit drinking, and the attorney goes, You're drinking an ultra right now. He goes, that's not drinking. That's beer. It's very light. She was talking about pounding whiskey. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
But the hypocrisy of both parties, but the hypocrisy of the left is just so overwhelming with people like, I can't believe Elizabeth Warren still gets elected.
Me either.
I just can't. And you find these people that, who else is Bernie Sanders. It's been exposed that his wife basically stole money from a university and built them a lake house. You remember this? No big deal because he's Bernie Sanders. He's practically royalty.
Meanwhile, the college she was president of goes belly up because of fiscal mismanagement, but somehow the house that she bought with college money
still
stayed
hers.
Within
still hers.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. But
so Scott, it's funny. Scott's being funny here. Scott Tomko, great listener. Said, super listener. I don't know. I listen. Scott Tomko said, then there's Pelosi. It'd be easier to count the times she was sober. I have to sincerely ask you, do you think Nancy Pelosi drinks?
No, actually, I don't believe she does. Her husband drinks enough for the two of them.
Yeah, well, you got to drink to live out your fantasies.
But from what I understand,
hit me with the hammer. Hit me right in the head.
No, I mean, I think she talks the way she talks because her dentures come loose.
Oh, stop it.
But seriously, I believe she's been she's a teetotaler.
That was Joan Rivers, right? Oh, stop it.
Yeah. You do make a good Joan.
Joan Rivers.
You went as Joan for Halloween one year in the 80s, didn't you?
What I noticed about Joan's
notice how he doesn't answer the question? He didn't just
Joan Rivers. I'll wear some heels every now and then if I can find them in a 13 medium. I'm like, if I find a heel,
double E pumps.
If I find a heel that fits me, I'm like, I'm really glad I didn't see the woman that could have bought that. But
I bet you Kendall's got some you can squeeze into.
Maybe. But let me tell you, if you watch good comedy, and Joan Rivers was quite funny at times. She was really good as a guest host on the Tonight Show. But
not so much when she got her own show.
Right. Her own show was kind of, yeah, you're right. It was kind of terrible. Pat Sajak, very fun guy till you give him his own show. Yeah. It's not easy to be mediocre every single day. Patrick Strauss says if she doesn't drink, she medicates. Right, she's on the Oxycontin.
Yeah,
she's
might be some truth to that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Solid. But Joan Rivers would make a joke, and then instead of letting you laugh, like Jerry Seinfeld would say something and just stop and let you laugh. Joan would say, and that's the truth about that. Then everybody starts laughing. She goes, oh, stop it. And she'd always, at the end, she acted like your laughter was interrupting her. That was part of her deal. She would go, and then he took off the hat, and while they're left, she go, and okay, I'll wait. And that was her deal. Was like, I'm so funny, you're interrupting the show. That was her nervous tell, if you will. Who's the best comedian you've heard last 10 years? Because I know you'll have somebody relatively new compared to me. Like I go Chris Rock.
Geez, I don't know. Joe, what's his name? Joe Coy?
I don't know.
Filipino guy. He's pretty funny. I think that's his name. And then there's a guy out of Australia. I can't remember his name, but he's hilarious, but he's also very
inappropriate.
Yeah, he pushes the inappropriate boundary, but I don't remember
What's the guy's name that does the help me folks. The young guy, white guy, brown hair, good looking guy. He does lots of interaction with the audience. Matt Rule. Somebody don't know. Monica says Henry Cho is hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's not Henry Cho.
Jeannie Robinson, Jim Jeffries. So these are people you look up. Matt Rife.
There you go.
Rafe, isn't it? Rife. Okay.
Yeah,
anyway, at any rate, that dude
good.
is hilarious. Yeah. He had a lady on one time. And she was, and it's got to be pre-done, right? Like he has to plant people in the audience because he's talking to this.
He does.
He's talking to this woman.
Quick.
Well, he is brutally quick. I mean, I like to, if I flatter myself, I'm quick-witted. This guy is quick-witted under pressure because he's on a stage with what appears to be very little predetermined material, and he just works with what the crowd gives him. And he had a lady on there one time that she had a breast implant that squeaked. If she moved just right, it'd go. And he goes, oh, wow. He goes, oh, a chew toy for adults. And he just went down this whole rabbit hole with her. He got her phone. The woman was there with her daughter.
Yeah, I've seen this.
And he called like her daughter and go, yeah, your grandma's got a squeaky. And I went, it's just hilarious. Yeah, he's very funny. And so we like the guy. And he was coming to Houston, and I thought, I'm going to surprise Dawn and take her. And like nosebleed seats were $300 a throw.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you're not singing with about a 10-piece band, I'm not going for $300. You might want to be in my living room.
It's an expensive laugh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I would die laughing. Good morning, Norm Burgess.
Sheree Brissett. Who else is in that we haven't?
Is it cold in McKinney, Frisco?
I'm sure.
Norm will know.
We need to take a break. We need to take 2 breaks. We got to do a better job.
Give us a break, folks. It won't take long. It really won't take long.
Dollar Floor Store. If you have not been by there, check them out for all your flooring needs.
North on Navarro.
Yeah. Texas-owned company. They got their start in Bryan, College Station, a few years ago, and now they've expanded into Victoria plus one other market. So they're a growing flooring store, and 39-cent tile blowout right now, clearing out tile for 39 cents a square foot. You can't beat prices like that.
No, you can't do it. Also, United States Marine veteran-owned RK Development Group. Let Daniel Rollins and his team help you put in a new barn dominium, new slab. You want to put just a big slab out back, a sport court, something like that for the kids. Daniel can do it. He's your guy. Power everything in your home by the VCS companies. You want to walk into a room and have music play? They can do it. You want to walk in and have the lights come on? They can do it.
Brand new iPhone, iPad,
all the
accoutrement.
Nice.
They've got it all.
Went services for all your generator needs, for all your general electrical needs. Give Win a call, emergency plumbing. They can help with that. Give them a call today for I need a new outlet. Hey, this GFCI plug is, out. They can help with that.
They can. Chesnick Furniture Company for all your furniture needs.
Chesnick and Love make your house a home. Get by today and see why you just always do better at Chesnick.
Living rooms, bedrooms, dining rooms, kitchens, appliances, washers, dryers, everything for every room in your home, even the bathroom.
White trash services and white trash site services, folks. Let's emphasize that for once. White trash site services. You have an old building out on a piece of property you want torn down. You have a home in town on Pier and Beam and you want it taken out so you can sell that lot. Call White Trash Site Services. They come out, tear it down, haul it off, grade the land. It's perfect. It's a brand new, clean lot. And then that's
They got rid of all the curbs and grass and all the garbage that was in this lot where they're putting pavement or concrete down today.
Parking lot next to it's going to be a huge parking lot, folks. It's right here on at William and Constitution. It's going to be a huge parking lot.
Now, if only we had the activity downtown to.
It's coming. I'm telling you, if you build it, they will come. There's Jeff Finley. Good morning, bro.
Well, they always said the only reason there's not much more happening downtown is there's no parking. Well,
it's true, but now there is.
There'll be lots of parking.
And here's the deal. People will drive to Jerry World with no exaggeration, over $100 a car to park.
Yeah.
And you may be parking half a mile from the stadium. You can see the stadium, and you're on the periphery of their property, but you're half a mile from the stadium. You can park right here, and in 2 blocks, you're on the square. It's not like people are like, oh, there's nowhere to park.
So far to walk.
Yeah. Don't be lazy and stupid. Get down here. We're not talking enough about brand us either. Our man, Cody Ballman, he'll hook you up. You need a new website. You need somebody to help you. How do I get my domain name? He can help you do that. Come up with a domain name.
GoDaddy.com.
He can search. YoDaddy.com. That's more of an OnlyFans site, isn't it? Is that an OnlyFans site? YoDaddy.
GoDaddy might be.
Unbelievable.
Jeff Finley checking in.
You got any news? Tell me something good. Tell me some news.
What else do we want?
What's going on with the president? Tammy asked who owns the new parking lot. The county. Tammy, this is the property that's right between Greeks 205 and the old Victoria Advocate building. And it used to be that bank drive-through. And they took all that out, took all those curbs out. The county bought that. So you own it, Tammy. The taxpayers own it. And then they finally did great work. They had white trash come down and rip all the concrete out, and now they're putting down a new slab today. Quite impressive. They've got the big concrete pump. Yeah, it's impressive to watch them work.
It is impressive to watch this stuff go on.
I can watch people work for hours.
So could that one guy.
There was one guy out there on one side of where they're pouring. There's guys and they're running around like ants, and they've got the hose and they're
smoothing it out,
and they're troweling it and all. They're doing all that, and then back over here, about 20 yards. They're putting down rebar and tying it together because they're getting ready for the continuous pour. And right in the middle, there's a guy like this.
If he would have if his hat would have been off, I would have thought he was listening to the national anthem.
Yeah, absolutely. He
Stoic.
was just standing there. I said, "There, that's me. That's me right there." Supervisor.
Santa Ana winds expected to pick up the next 3 days in
Dangerous
Southern
time.
California. 24 people. Death toll has risen. I mean, I'm not trying to minimize that, but
The loss of life is terrible, and the loss of life. Here's the problem.
I thought it would be higher.
The things that are happening out there, Ash pointed out that in Pacific Palisades, the average value of a home that was destroyed was $6 million. And there's, hundreds of them?
I think that's the average home price in Pacific Palisades, destroyed or not. That was
$6 million. But here's the deal. These are it's funny to me, funny, odd, not ha-ha. The Dems are all that's out there. And the Dems, you would think, would be against the establishment, against the rich people. I mean, at some point when it's like, I saw a deal that said that some of the folks up there were paying $2,000 an hour for private fire service. Okay. That's interesting. $2,000 an hour.
Well, because the public fire service failed them.
Yeah.
Because government has gotten away from the things that government should be responsible for. They're not responsible for your bad life choices that led you to be homeless. They're not responsible for, if you're going to be there to protect and serve, with the taxes, with the high taxes in California, there's no excuses
Absolutely.
for what's going on in LA. About the only thing I think that they really don't tax is property values. They've got a lot of weird laws in the books that allow you to take your property tax from the house you were at to the new house you buy.
So you go from a little bitty place for $1 million to a $10 million house and you just pay for the $1 million?
I don't know if it works that way. It might work the other way. You go from a bigger house to, well, even if you went from a bigger house to a smaller house, but it costs you more. Yeah. You can take your, say you can move your taxes with you. It's just, it's weird stuff.
Tammy asking a good question. Who owns the parking lot? I said the county. Purchased by the county from whom? I can't be sure. Part of it was owned by the Hewitts, and part of it, and may still be, and part of it was owned by
one of the banks, right?
One of the banks,
because it was a bank,
and they bought it in part because the old Advocate building has been turned into the county bought that, and they're using it to stage for emergency management and all that. We've already seen several times here. When Helene was coming through and Burl,
fire and rescue,
you had all kinds of fire and rescue people staged on the street. And this is going to allow them to stage. It also would allow them to use this parking lot as a distribution center in the event that you had some type of tragedy and you needed to come down and get water and those things, much of which is stored inside the building across the street. So I'm
still not convinced it's the greatest place for that, just because of the low-hanging limbs and the lack of major thoroughfares around it. But whatever.
But it's but the thing is, it was cheap. The Advocate building was relatively inexpensive because it was a dump. It was like the paper and the building. It was like the fall of the House of Usher.
Yeah, they had an old ink tank in there that they just basically walked away from, or something like that.
Pollution that the county had to clean up.
Didn't want to.
But it was. With it. I don't remember the exact numbers, but at the time it was like, whoa, that's cheap. You gotta buy that. And together they create a little synergy for the county.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, doesn't.
Sheree Burchette says they're going to fire all the fire chiefs who've been begging for money, personal training, equipment, resources, but the people responsible for not giving them the required needs will get off scot-free by blaming them.
Well, because they're all elected officials. Maybe this will open up the eyes.
No, California
to the folks in California.
They'll blame Trump for this. They'll blame Trump for his mean words.
Well, they already tried. Remember?
Yeah,
they already tried.
Crazy town.
Senate confirmation hearings for some of President Trump's cabinet picks begin this week. I believe Secretary of Veteran Affairs Doug Collins will be the first one.
He was a great basketball coach. You recall he played on that 72 Olympic team that got beat by the Russians.
Different Doug Collins.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
He was a two-guard. I think he played at Carolina. Commander Cody, look up for me where Doug Collins played college basketball.
South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Secretary, will also be on the Senate confirmation hearing.
She's the one from South Dakota
this week, and as well as right? Secretary of State Senator Marco Rubio. Yes.
Where, sir? Illinois State.
That's the last time they were relevant.
That's the last time they met. Doug Collins, quite a coach, quite a player. Yeah. Tell me about the Lake and Riley Act. Now, this is
that bill that was passed the House passed that bill last week. This is the one that basically allows immigrants to be removed, illegals to be removed, even if they just have misdemeanors, non-violent crimes. No problem.
So it really, really constricts the activity of illegal immigrants. My deal with that would be, look, it's kind of like you sneak into the ball game, right? You don't have a ticket, but you sneak into the ball game, and the usher is like, look, kid, I'm gonna let you stay. Don't cause any trouble. It's standing room only. Don't cause any trouble. And then all of a sudden, you're like throwing water bottles on the field. They ought to be able to kick you out. That's what ought to happen. It's just a misdemeanor. You're just throwing a water bottle onto the field, but you don't deserve to be there anymore. And when you're an uninvited guest, you sneak in, you crash the party. Don't be the guy pushing the folks into the pool. Just act right. You might have a chance to stay a little bit longer.
The bill even allows for sanctions on a foreign country for refusing to accept a national who's eligible for removal. Good.
I have no problem with that either.
I don't either.
It's like Trump said,
you don't want to bring your trash back?
Right. I'm sending them back. And if you don't want them, fine. Then we'll just cut off our aid to your country to help us offset the cost of dealing with these idiots. Is that a problem? If we're giving Honduras $5 billion a year for homelessness studying, does it offend you if we drop it to 3 to take care of their illegal immigrants? Doesn't bother me. It might make them more malleable at the negotiation table. Everything. I remember my dad told me years ago, I'd say, well, like England's like our brother. We're like great allies. And he goes, they're the closest. He goes, trust me, son, the United States has no allies that we haven't bought. That's a true story. The world is jealous of our lifestyle. The world is jealous of our means. And as a result.
And what's really funny is those that hate us the most
need us the most
should be hating the rulers and the kings of their countries who have more riches than anybody in the United States does. They just got 800 kids by their harem, and so it's dispersed a little bit more, but collectively, way more wealth than Warren Buffett.
It is funny to me. I mean, show me that, like, for example,
but they hate us.
Denmark doesn't matter globally. They've got a king. Are you kidding me? Denmark has a king? The king of Denmark.
Everybody
That's
up in
like
arms.
being
the
king of Victoria.
Yeah, I'd be the king of Denmark.
It wouldn't be bad.
I mean, there's only so many kings left in the world.
The king of nothing. It's craziness.
Ray Brissett asks, haven't heard anything else about drones since the fires in LA. I'm going to get into here's some things looking into the drone situation. And I believe, those balloons that went across the country earlier last summer, that was Chinese stuff. I'm not, they had some of those drones up looking for that piece of medical equipment that went missing. Mm-hmm. It's a little suspect. I mean, the amount of enriched uranium or whatever in that device was not enough to even get rid of, or to, it wouldn't be enough to irradiate your baby finger from what I've been told.
Right.
But
it has to be accounted for because it is uranium.
Yeah. But I'm almost convinced that was an exercise where they had to have been, I don't know. I find it too hard to believe that they can put this on a train with all of the paperwork that had to go to get it onto that train, and then it just goes missing.
Ricky King says he would be the king of nothing.
But he's got it in his name. He's Ricky King.
Lisa Poole, you are correct. She says, Tammy Kinley says, how about Region 3 purchases of Spring Creek and Pioneer? Way more money and greater negative impact to the tax base. I don't have any problem with a not-for-profit. I don't think that if Region 3 needs to buy new property, I don't think that it's fair to sling a dart at them because they're taking that off the tax rolls. That's not their fault. But years ago, we started charging these regions with running themselves like a business. And they just do it better than school districts do, period. Yeah. And they found a way that they make their money by sending bills to school districts.
Well, I mean, would it be fair for the legislature to maybe go, do they need the money that we're giving them? If they can run this efficiently, I don't know.
Well, I don't think the legislature gives the region much money. I think they make their money off
the services that they provide.
Yeah. Which, by the way, the state mandates that the districts have to buy. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, but that's apples and oranges. I mean, I don't compare the region. I don't think they needed Pioneer. But I think they just got it at such a deal. My whole question way back then is, why doesn't the county buy it? Why not turn around and can you imagine the things you could do out there? You could use that as a core hub for lots of services, and you've got property there to build a new convention center. You've got,
My question is though, I mean, if you're really a proponent of smaller government, why is government buying this stuff?
Well, yeah, the government's always buying stuff. Tammy says, where they don't need it and the money didn't come from, I don't know. Imagine there's no money. It's easy. If you try, it doesn't change the mismanagement and lack of funds involved in the school district.
If they didn't need it,
they wouldn't have bought it.
And they weren't having to do what they have to do. Why are they having to do what they have to do? Because the state's requiring school districts to do this stuff. I never thought looking at what our state's requiring school districts to do. When we're in the bottom third of the United States in educational outcomes, geez, our state hasn't had it right for a long time as far as what we're asking our schools to do.
What the region should not be able to do or allowed to do
is buy property worth millions and millions of dollars.
No, is come in. I don't care what they buy. And to think about the taxes on that property is way too micromanaging. But I don't like coming in and saying, "Oh, you're a principal, you make $95,000 a year. Okay, we'll pay you $100. You want to come over?" And they hire our best and brightest educators right out from under us and take them out of the real workforce, because I don't know how to tell you as much. I mean, my mother worked at Region 3 for years. My mother was also an elementary school principal. And I can just tell you, even with the traveling and the Stephen Covey training and all that, my mother worked a lot harder on that elementary campus than she did at the region. That's like, the region is like semi-retirement, if you're not kidding. I don't mean to offend all you region people, but I'm just putting things in perspective. It's the truth. It's a country club.
Tell you who's not semi-retired. That's Alan Miller. Alan's Wrecker Service.
Alan's Wrecker Service. 578-6300. Let Alan be your go-to toe-to. Alan can help you get from here to there, from anywhere. Give him a call. Give him a call. Paravita Wellness getting new meals today.
Yep. Looking forward to it.
I cannot wait. Going to go by and pick them up. Very, very good. Great food.
You want the best Mexican food? Veracruz Restaurant today.
Get by.
Back open today?
Yeah, today will be a great day. Cowboys did not lose this weekend. We'll get to that in a second. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Get in there this Thursday night. Yeah, it just clicked for you. I'll be on the road. USA Concrete Coating. I'll tell everybody they won't show up. USA Concrete Coatings.
Record turnout this Thursday.
Carter won't be there. It's going to be great. USA Concrete Coating. Let Charlie Garcia and his brothers come out and put down a tough as nails polyurethane coat that won't crack, stick, peel, or fade. They can help you. You've got a driveway that's all wonky. They can level it, seal the cracks, put down a coating on it, make it look great. It's going to be super, super duper driveway.
Super duper driveway.
I'd buy it. Do that. Enjoy it. Tammy asked, what's the source for bottom third statistic? It's pretty much documented. We're in the bottom 10%, I think, in education in this country. Texas is. Not blaming VISD for that. No. Just saying, you got a lot of.
I've posted the sources many times.
Oh,
for
yeah.
The education. Everybody knows in this
even
country.
If you just made it up to make the point, it makes the point. Yeah. We have way too many English as a second language people in this state. We have way too many single parent children that
Way too many migrant farm workers whose kids are in and out of
That's
out of
right.
schools.
In and out. And the parents that don't spend time helping their kids do their homework. I mean, make no mistake, all this falls on the parents.
Too many parents that want to be their kid's best friend rather than their parent.
Right. Absolutely. It is the parents. I mean, you look around at the schleppy. I mean, wait till this group of kids has kids. Kids like 2 years old, gave them a PS10 with Madden 38 on it. I mean, wait till this group of kids has kids.
Won't be Madden, it'll be Romo by then.
Yeah.
They won't know who Madden is.
No kidding. I go back and I go back to the people that I know that I went to school with. And we'll get you a source, Tammy. If you really think that we need to give you a source to show you that Texas education sucks,
and it's not my fault you missed it.
come on. It's there. You give us the source. What does your source say? Texas ranks in education nationally. Certainly bottom third. No doubt about it. Nobody questions that. I don't understand that. I need your source.
Google it.
Yeah. Google's your friend. We only have an hour. So.
Oh, what else is happening today that we need to talk about? I don't even know. Oh. Ukraine kicking the butt of the North Korean soldiers. Lots of stuff over the weekend popping up about them eradicating complete special ops units out of North Korea by drone and by hand-to-hand combat. Apparently they're not so special.
Wow. Ukraine is ready to hand over Kim Jong-un's soldiers if he can organize their exchange for our warriors who are being held captive in Russia. Zelensky said Sunday on Twitter, on X. Wow.
Yeah, they've got 2 North Korean soldiers, first ones that they've captured alive, but they have, of course, North Korea not acknowledging the presence of North Korean troops in Russia.
North Korea.
But there's been some stuff coming out on the down low of letters released that they've sent to the families hand-delivered to the families of special ops who died honorably serving the mothership, basically.
That's crazy. I don't think North Korea is near the military threat that they want you to believe they are. It's hard to be a world-class superpower.
They've sent the best of their best of the best, and they're getting destroyed by the Ukrainians.
You know why? Because I don't think they're bought in at all. You got to be bought in.
It's probably the first time they've ever left the North Korea, and they realize, holy crap, this is nice.
Yeah.
Even though they're in a war.
First State Bank of Louise sports update brought to you by, of course, the First State Bank of Louise. Great folks, great friends. Longhorns lose. Outcoached and outplayed by a better program. Ohio State came in, exposed some of the weaknesses the Longhorns had, namely Quinn Ewers.
Hard-hitting game, though.
Yeah, good game. Good football game.
Score, 2-touchdown final score was not as close as the game was the whole game. It was a good game.
But Notre Dame will now play Ohio State. I'm going to go out on a limb
tonight.
I'm telling you that I think Ohio State will throttle Notre Dame. I just don't think.
I don't know. Marcus Freeman has that ability to
walk on water.
Well, not quite that, but kind of summing up the Rudy and the underdog. I think it'll be closer than people think.
You think?
But I think Ohio State will run away with it. I think it'll be close for 3 quarters. Ohio State will wear them down, and just fourth quarter won't be close.
There you go.
That's the way I'm looking at it.
How about
10 points, Ohio State?
The good news is the Texans just clown stomped the Chargers.
Yeah.
32-12. But now the Texans get to play the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think the best playoff game will be the Bills-Ravens next week. The best one this weekend was the Buccaneers And Washington last night. I mean, there was not a really good playoff football game until that one last night.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They
Now,
were terrible.
why are they not showing us that the Eagles play the Commanders?
Because they don't. I think it depends on who wins this one or tonight's game.
What is tonight's game?
Rams and Vikings. They'll play the winner of the Rams and Vikings tonight, which has been moved to the Phoenix area because of the fires in L.A.
I tell you who ought to be upset. I was joking the other day that when the Lions at 14-2 played the Vikings at 14-2, the winner gets a number 1 seed, home advantage, and plays the 6th seed coming in. Okay,
well,
that's
they
who
finally
the Commanders
they
play.
finally reseed, which is
But here's the problem: the people that ought to be upset are the Rams, because the Rams barely slid into the playoffs, kind of, right? And they get stuck playing the Vikings, who are a 14-3 team.
Well, I mean, same thing yesterday. The Buccaneers with a 3 seed got home field advantage, and they had less wins than Washington. Washington, 12-win
12-5
wild card team. The Vikings are a 14-win wild card team. I mean, this didn't happen growing up. You were 9-7 and getting a wild card slot in the playoffs.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Now you're 14-3 and you're worried if you're going to get in.
It's shaping up where, let's see, the Chiefs, I don't know, Bills or Ravens. I don't know.
I think the winner of that Bills-Ravens game probably wins the Super Bowl, or at least represents the AFC. You think they would beat
the Chiefs?
Yep, I do.
And then the Lions could play and then the Eagles and Rams, Vikings. I think the Lions are going to the Super Bowl. Although Jaden Daniels, the quarterback for the Washington Commanders out of LSU, really a fine player. Really, really gifted athletic player.
Yeah,
Super Bowl could be fun
better
this
than
year.
Jalen Hurts.
I don't see the Cowboys anywhere on that at all. That's interesting. Yeah, it's careful. We got to be careful.
Texans really early on, Texans looked like they were going to struggle against the Chargers, and then they just took it to them.
Unbelievable.
32-12 was the final score in that one, in case you're wondering.
There you have it. Let's see. H.R. Mallory, a great source, says in the most and least educated states, second edition, Texas ranks 46th, as reported in the San Angelo Live on January 17th, 2024. So unless we've made great strides, we are certainly in the bottom third. Way to go, H.R. Mallory. Way to go. That's our man.
I know Ed White says the North Koreans are probably asking when the war will start because everything looks just like home.
Right? No kidding.
Destroyed.
Yes.
Jared says, are there any Ukrainians left of foreign troops? They are down to grabbing young and old off the streets and forcing them into service, according to some reports. Both sides are doing it. That's why Russia reached into North Korea and put the screws to Kim Jong nut job.
He is a loon.
Yeah.
Morning, Brent Anderson. Rex Ryan said the Chargers were going to have a bye week.
Well, they kind of did after that first quarter. They did not look good.
Rex Ryan.
He's a better analyst than he ever was a coach.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe he was a decent coordinator. But
I don't know if I mentioned it. I don't think I did. Atzenhofer and Atzenhofer.com. Great time for you to get in this week. Go in. I'm seeing, man, the new Chevys are just amazing. Go in and check out the new Chevy trucks.
Yeah, we did not mention Atzenhofer.
Trail Boss, Z71, Silverado. They got all these different levels. High Country. They've got all these different levels of vehicles for you to say, well, I want leather, but I don't need a sunroof. Well, they've got ways for you to order packages that save you money. Get in there and look at all their also certified pre-owned vehicles, and they have a bunch on their pre-owned lot. Lots of trucks.
Yeah. Listen to the New York Times real quick before we've got to go, and we'll get into this more yesterday. But the media is starting to manufacture stories about the Trump administration, and they're not even in power yet. Here's the New York Times yesterday. The incoming Trump administration knows it could use a public health emergency to justify closing the border with Mexico. So now they know what the Trump administration wants. They have no clue.
They want another COVID or something like that.
Now it just has to find one. This is the story in the New York Times. This is not responsible journalism at all.
100% agree. Yep.
They are fishing, and they are trying to do everything that they can.
Trump is likely to justify his plans to seal off the border with Mexico by citing a public health emergency from immigrants bringing disease into the United States.
Now he just has to find one. I can name one for you. Polio.
Yeah. Bird flu.
Measles. Diseases we had pretty much eradicated until our open, porous border. And we don't even vaccinate the folks coming in. Everybody else in this country's got to have a vaccination, but nope. We're going to spend hundreds of millions putting these folks up in hotels and giving them meals, but we're not going to vaccinate a single one of them
100%.
Against anything.
It's funny, Ricky King, the two coaches that I think are the difference makers, except for Andy Reid, who's obviously a Hall of Famer, Dan Quinn and Dan Campbell, both strong ties to the Dallas Cowboys.
Campbell was a tight end.
And Quinn was a coordinator for the Cowboys. Yeah. He's now dominating with the Washington Commanders.
And Quinn said he wasn't going to leave the Cowboys until he got just the right head coaching job. And I mean, Jerry, you can't let a guy go that wants to be head coach again.
Right. Absolutely. So, hey, folks, it's top of the hour on a Monday. Go win today. You can't win the week if you don't win Monday. Have a great day. We love you. We don't always have to, agree to get along, but we can get along. Y'all be good. Have a great day.
Bye, folks.
Bye, folks.